Hey, what's up guys? John here. We're going to see the biggest real estate crash that we've ever seen in America happen to Miami Beach and Miami, Florida. Here's what's going on. People will think there's no way values are going to drop by 80%, 90%. Definitely not with inflationary concerns and all the money, all the jobs, the employment and opportunities that have been sweeping throughout Miami over the last year, 2 years, 3 years. There's no way development and opportunities are only going to blossom in Miami. And if it wasn't for this one thing, I would fully 100% agree with you. In areas hit hard by climate change, only the rich can afford to stay. Now, Miami is not the land of the rich, despite what you see on social media and Instagram. It's really a place with some wealthy people, but most people are living below median incomes. They're really struggling in a lot of areas in Miami. Redfin CEO came out and said September 3rd, home buyers aren't taking climate change seriously. He said increasingly it's going to get harder to get insurance, it's going to get harder to get a loan for these properties because lenders are going to see the writing on the wall that this is collateral risk. Now, what would property valuations do in the event you can't get a loan and you can't get property insurance? Obviously, values are going to fall because most people really don't own anything. Everything is supported by debt. So if you can't get debt on these assets, it's going to be really hard to acquire them. And if you can't get insurance and you have a storm, you have a tornado or a hurricane, which is very kind of common in Miami, then what would happen? You have to come out of pocket and self-insure these properties, which is going to wipe out a lot of landlords, especially over the last decade. They've been buying them at 5%, 7% returns, and now they have to self-insure these properties, and people can't get financing. So when they eventually have to sell these assets, they have to sell them to only cash buyers, which will slim up the amount of buyers that are going to come out there and actually take possession of these properties and then self-insure. But look at this article here, and then I'm going to show you what Miami-Dade.gov is planning to do that's going to dramatically increase the cost of ownership of these properties, of these assets, because it doesn't just stop here. He says the rain fell steadily at Kurt Dreyer's Miami Beach, Florida home on a mid-July day this summer. He opened the door to his garage and pointed to the flood already collecting in his driveway. He said it wouldn't be long until the whole garage flooded. Even though he faces daily nuisance flooding, the 30-year Miami Beach resident said he is not considering to move. It's paradise living here. Dreyer estimates he's spending about $250,000 in renovations to make his home more resilient to flooding. While that figure includes some upgrades to the tile cabinetry in the kitchen, the main structure change will raise the driveway by 3 feet and pitch it so water will flow into the street. He is also raising his guest bedroom and bathroom by 4 feet. Jesse Keenan, associate professor of real estate at Tulane University, says these types of resiliency fixes, which are primarily available to the wealthy, create a game of musical chairs with home equity. As long as homeowners like Dreyer are able to sell their property at a higher price after resiliency investments, they come out on top. Eventually, however, a homeowner or bank could end up losing everything if a flood or disaster destroys the house and makes the property unlivable. Over time, this risk will increase insurance rates and make it harder to get mortgages. So you look at it, CNBC saying it's going to be hard to get mortgages and insurance. The CEO of Redfin saying the same exact thing, all within a 2-week period. What is this saying? It's saying that odds are that this is what's very likely to happen. Scroll down here. We anticipate a rapid decline in valuation, Keenan told CNBC. Only the wealthy can afford to live, for instance, in high-risk coastal areas because everybody else can't insure it and won't be able to get a mortgage. In fact, homes exposed to sea level rise sell for about 7% less than their unexposed counterparts, according to a study published in 2019 in the Journal of Financial Economics. That discount jumps to 10% when the owner of the property is not living there. Flooding is the most common and most expensive natural disaster in the U.S., according to FEMA. 90% of all natural disasters in the U.S. involve flooding, and just 1 inch of water can cause $25,000 in damage to a home. In 2019, Home Insurance Information Institute survey found that only 15% of American homeowners have flood insurance. Keenan fears all this combined will lead to a situation where only wealthy will be able to protect themselves from climate danger. Dreyer said registering his flood claims has been relatively simple, but he and his husband are paying out of pocket for these major renovations, but it's worth it to make his dream home complete, and he expects Miami will continue to be livable for at least another 20 years. So not many people are going to be able to write a check for $25K, $50K, $100,000 or more as this continues to progress. They estimate by 2030 that 45 million jobs will be wiped out by automation. 45 million Americans is what they're predicting will lose their jobs to automation by 2030. So 8.5 years. That's a 25% unemployment rate. We have 157 million Americans that are currently in the workforce. So we start taking into consideration that it's going to be hard for these valuations to maintain. What's going to happen, most likely, is we're going to have an affordability issue, and people aren't going to have the equity in their homes that they currently do. So what will happen then? It's going to be harder to refinance. So unless you have a fat checkbook that you can use to take care of one issue after the next, you're going to have to move. And then if that happens, the jobs, the opportunities are going to leave Miami, and they're going to go somewhere where it's going to be a bit more affordable to have employees that can actually work there. Now what they're doing here, which is very interesting, miami-dade.gov, you can see the website right here, miami-dade.gov, their climate action strategy. This tells you what their plan is. So their plan is they want emissions gap to reach 50% by 2030. So they're going to take massive, massive changes. And how they're going to do this is going to be that building owners and property owners are going to have to keep their homes in a place that are going to be good for the environment. So they're going to have to electrify their homes, i.e. get them off of fossil fuels, and in addition to that, retrofit them to make them more safe for the world, the environment, and the neighbors. So this is all coming. And how is this all going to happen? And when's this going to be beginning? Well, it's going to start. It's on page 9. I'm going to scroll down here and show you right here. So it says, buildings provide the base for our homes and our business. As the pandemic highlighted, having efficient and healthy homes and properties is important. In Miami-Dade County, most buildings run on electricity with a very small percentage that is used of combination of electricity and natural gas, a fossil fuel. So here's what they want to do. The benchmark is 1.3 billion square feet by 2026. 1.3 billion square feet. So you think, what is the average apartment in Miami? The average apartment in Miami, I would ballpark probably somewhere around 700 feet. So 1.3 billion, that gives you 100 and, let's see here, that's 1.85 million units. 1.85 million units. Of course, there's going to be houses in there, some big mansions, you know, some that you'll see on Star Island and Billionaire's Bunker that are 10 or 20,000 square feet. So conservatively, let's just say a million. Say a million units. How many units are in Miami? 200,000. So every unit basically is where they're going with this. They want to take every single unit and retrofit them. So you're going to have additional costs. You're going to have issues with self-insurance. You're going to have issues with bank financing, all coming to Miami. So this is on the website, miami-dade.gov. You can look it up. CNBC says this right here, and they're interviewing homeowners and the CEO of Redfin. All of this happening right now. So this isn't a theory, this is happening. And I do believe what we're gonna see is we're gonna see an exodus from Miami over the coming 5 years at levels that we've never seen before. And with the lack of demand, we're likely going to have an affordability issue. Values are gonna plummet, people are gonna leave, and then big time investors are likely gonna go in there and try to either rehabilitate these properties and scoop them up, or just let the government take them over. Because if no one's there to rent them, No one's going to buy them at the current present day values, put all of the money in to retrofit these properties, then self-insure them when things go wrong, and then have people that really can't afford the increased rents, because rents have already been skyrocketing in Miami. So what we're going to see is some big problems facing Miami. That's why I believe that we're going to see an 80 to 90% correction. But I do believe that what we will see are the elites running out there buying all the beautiful mega mansions alongside these gated communities right on the beach, because they're going to be, it's almost going to be like their own island, because there's not going to be half the amount of people that are there now. Now, if you go to South Beach, Miami, what are you going to see? You're going to see a ton of people, a ton of crime. Well, when the opportunities fade away and the businesses don't have the customers to stay in business, they're going to have to close up shop. So it's going to be a great playground for the elite, great playground for the rich. But for the multifamily real estate investor and for the person that wants to go out there and buy their first duplex, I think it's a bad place. And I think that we're going to see this massive crash take over Miami very, very soon. What do you think about this information? Drop your comments below. Smash that like button. Subscribe here. Also consider subscribing on my second channel, my personal channel. I'm going to leave the link pinned down below in the top comment. I'll see you guys in the next video.